Welcome to the Bear Farmer channel. This weekly update, we're going to go ahead and plant some seeds. And we're going to be planting all kinds of stuff. We're going to be planting peppers, we're going to be planting tomatoes, we're going to be planting lettuce, we're going to be planting all kinds of stuff today. And it's going to be fun because I'm going to be trying a bunch of different new grow systems this week. And yeah, I need to get some things started before I start getting into those grow systems. So let's get into it. Now, as you can see here, I labeled everything in the slots that they are in, and these are all the different things that we're starting today. So that's pretty exciting, as all of these start growing, and we get to put them in all of our various different growing systems. Super excited about this. Another thing I want to talk about this week, and thing that I've got going on, is the fact that I almost killed all my lettuce in my aeroponics system, and I'm going to show you why. Now, when I broke apart these guys, as you can see, there is a lot of algae growth on the top of this. And second thing that I noticed was that the roots were not growing through the rockwool at all. And I'm not sure exactly why that is. If you know, maybe you could give me a leg up on why my roots aren't growing through my rockwool. My best guess is that I just put them in the system too early, and they didn't have enough time to get that root growth that they needed through the system. And that was just suffocating them. So right now, I have them all in these puck little propagators here. And I'm going to try to revive the root systems of these guys. And as you can see, I'll show you this guy right here. Like, the roots were just non-existent. Like, they were just dying. And they were dying of root rot. So I'm going to see, I've got them in some nutrient solution right now. And I'm going to try to see if I can revive the root systems on some of these guys and get them to start over again. We're also going to take a look at our hydroponic Brussels sprouts, and I've got a couple of lettuce heads that I have used over Thanksgiving week that I've just cut the tops off of them, used the leaves for salad, and I stuck them in some water to see what would happen, and I'm going to show you that too. And then we're going to take a look at the indoor garden bed and see the stuff that's growing there. So let's get to it. So these guys here are the hydroponic Brussels sprouts. These are 3 weeks old, and they are doing fantastic. And I can show you the Kratky system is doing wonders for these Brussels sprouts. They're just doing fantastic. And as a comparison, I'll show you the ones that are in the indoor garden bed that were planted literally the same day. Those are the ones that are in the indoor garden bed. And as you can see, they're healthy. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them. But the ones in the hydroponic system are so much bigger and more vigorous than these guys. And it's just surprising me how fast and how much better this grows the Brussels sprouts. As promised, these are the lettuces that are growing in water. Nothing fancy about it. This one here today, I just changed to a nutrient solution. I want to see if it has any effect on its growth versus this one over here that's just currently sitting in water. And that right there is an aloe plant that I'm trying to save for my wife. It was dealing with a little bit of root rot as well, and I'm seeing if I can perk it up. And here is the indoor garden bed. These are those onions, and as you can see, we have some new growth here on the onions, so that's getting settled in fairly well. Haven't seen a lot of growth out of this guy yet, but we still got time. Here are the leeks and the carrots that I transplanted into here. The leeks have been here the whole time. They were actually planted in this soil, but they are doing rather well. This is week 1 for those guys. And as you can see, the carrots there that I transplanted into it are actually doing very well. They handled the transplant perfectly. That is a volunteer bean plant that just decided it was gonna pop up there, as you can see, and it is doing very well as well. And this guy here is the broccoli, and it is still alive and still kicking. Has survived a whole growing season and is still going, so we'll see what we can get that to do. And there's not a whole lot of change with the avocado tree. It's actually looking like it might shed its leaves, which from what I've been told is a good sign. If it sheds its leaves after you transplant it and when there was something wrong with it, that means it's getting ready to put out a bunch of new growth, and it needs the nutrients from those leaves to be able to put out that new growth. So hopefully this guy will actually shed its leaves and do that, but if not, then hopefully it recovers here fairly quickly. I just fertilized it the other day, and as promised, I'm going to show you what I'm using to fertilize it. So what I'm using is actually this IV Organics. It's a full organic solution, and it is a top, like, slow composting. You're supposed to put like 5 tablespoons of this in every 30 days to feed your potted plants, and it has everything in it. It's a full complement, as most organic solutions will be, of everything that your plant needs, because it's made of decomposed plants, and decomposed plants are what decomposed plants need, or what living plants need to eat in order to survive. It has a lot of different things, and I will have a link to the description of this, and we're going to be able to see whether this is going to have a huge effect on our avocado plant or not. And I'm going to be using this in other places around the garden too, to see what kind of an effect this has on other plants as well. The banana plants are growing like a weed. These things put out a new leaf like every 3 to 4 days. They are just chugging along, doing great. I couldn't be happier with the progress on the bananas. And let's go ahead and take a look underneath there at our little baby starter. It's doing well also, and hopefully here in a couple of weeks, once that thing gets a little bit bigger, I'm gonna try to prune that off of there and plant it in its own little container. We're gonna see our first little baby banana volunteer, if we can get it to grow as well. And then the last thing is we've started our great potato experiment to see which soil grows potatoes better. And this one's going to be going on for a while, and I'll have plenty of videos on this whole grow system after we're done. Another thing I forgot to mention is that I am actually putting in a self-watering system for the plants, and I can run through that real fast and show you what that's about as well. So inside there, I have the pump. It is just over 1,000 gallons per hour, and I have installed some 1/2-inch poly tubing that goes all the way along here and up into here. And the reason I went ahead and did the 1/2-inch poly tubing is because I have some issues with delivery of the water pressure if I just stick with that 1/4-inch tubing the whole time. And as you can see here, I've come off of that 1/2-inch tubing to go into the atomizing nozzles that actually spray over the top of these plants. And on a couple of them, like the broccoli, the beans, and the Brussels sprouts, I just have a drip emitter in there. You can see underneath there that it just sits underneath of it. Nothing real fancy. And that actually kicks on for about 5 minutes a day and just gives them water. And I don't really have to think about it or worry about it. Once I pH balance the water, which you don't even really have to do for soil because it's very good at balancing everything itself because it acts as sort of a filtration device. And that's why one benefit of planting in soil versus hydroponics is you don't really have to worry about it too much. I went ahead and installed a chlorine filter on my faucet in here, so when I fill things up, the chlorine is already gone from the water, so all I have to really worry about is the minerals and everything, which is about 450 parts per million of minerals in my water here currently, which isn't awful, but it is a little high, so I have to be careful about what nutrients I'm giving the plants because they already get a lot from the tap water here. And yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. But this is what it's like to grow plants in the winter indoors in the middle of Nebraska. So it's like 35 degrees outside and I'm growing plants just fine inside my house, which is one of the benefits of having an indoor grow space, that you can keep temperature control, that you can control the humidity, you can control the environment, which is very nice to have a space that I can grow things in all year long and not have to worry about it. So what this week were you the most interested in? I'd love to hear feedback from you. Is there any plant that I'm not growing currently that you would like to see grown? Even out of the ones that I'm planting seeds. I'm always looking for new things to grow, for new challenges, and just some new soil compositions or whatever you have to add to the conversation. If this is stuff that interests you, it's stuff that interests me. And I'm here to try things for you as much as to try things for myself. So let me know in the comments, what do you want to see and what did you like this week? As always, if you like this content, please consider hitting the thumbs up for us as it really helps us out. And if you want to see more of the content that I produce and see where this project goes, consider subscribing to us as well. Until next time, thanks for watching. God bless.